Rivalries are one of the most important aspects of both sports and esports. It's almost impossible for players and teams to compete at a high level without these kinds of storylines forming. And it's really one of the biggest things that brings viewers back to watch more. The RLCS World Championship is coming up in a few days, and I thought it would be cool to go through the best rivalries in Rocket League history, because some of them are still ongoing, and they definitely have relevance in this season's RLCS. And I've also got more thoughts on how this plays out for the current World Championship, and I'll talk about that at the end of the video. I'm not just saying that so you'll stick around to the end, but seriously, stick around to the end. Also, if you guys like this video, make sure to leave a like and also subscribe if you haven't already. I've made a bunch of videos like this one, and I've got a playlist called Top 10s if you want to watch any of the other ones. Alright, let's jump right into my picks for the 10 greatest rivalries in Rocket League history. Number 10, OSM and Killerican. I've talked about this rivalry before. Sadly, this one's dead, and I'm guessing it's never going to be revived again, as Killerican doesn't appear to be playing Rocket League competitively. I've told this story multiple times, and you can check out my video on the greatest 1v1 matches of all time if you're interested in that. One of my favorite things about these series is just how evident it is that players just don't really like each other. And it's so cool that in Rocket League, you can really see that in ways that you can't in other esports. In all of the series they played versus each other, Killerican and OSM both play super aggressive and super physical. And you can just tell that they want to win so bad, and they just want to beat the other person. Oh, and they also did a good job of dishing out some sarcastic quick chats whenever a goal was scored. Number 9, Method and Gale Force. This rivalry mainly goes back to Season 4 of RLCS, where Gale Force was the most dominant team in the world, and Method was basically the second most dominant team in the world. Prior to the Season 4 of RLCS, the two teams faced off against each other in the grand finals of the Universal Open, where Gale Force ended up winning in Game 6. Method beat Gale Force in league play for Season 3, but Gale Force took them down in the regional championship to take the number 1 seed going into Worlds. Both teams ended up making it to the grand finals, which really wasn't surprising, and they both played on another level at the live finals. But Gale Force ended up beating them 4-0 in the grand finals. This is one rivalry that really doesn't appear to be ending anytime soon, and I'll be interested to see how the match will go if they do end up playing against each other this coming weekend. Number 8, Marquis and Kronovi. This rivalry goes way back and honestly probably has the longest history in Rocket League. The prequel to Rocket League was this janky game everybody called SARP. During that time there were a few standout players, people like Pashy and Cooksey or Scrubkilla and Kronovi and Marquis. After Rocket League came out, the two would often face each other at the top of the leaderboards in ranked or in show matches. Aside from the two players leading their teams to the World Championship in Season 1, they faced off against each other in one of Johnny Boy's streams and in ranked before RLCS even started. Both players were on such a different level at this time. Like, they were just so much better than basically all of the Rocket League community for quite a while when the game came out. And watching them play was like watching Rocket League in the future. They were just so much faster and they had so much more control. And they really showed what Rocket League was going to become. I think that this rivalry in Rocket League's early days really helped the esport become what it is today. Number 7, WeDem Girls and Flipside Tactics. WeDem Girls basically came out of nowhere in Season 1 of RLCS. As far as I knew, nobody in EU was going to be able to win a series against Flipside. There were great teams like Mach.it EU and Supersonic Avengers, but at the time, no team really showed the same level of chemistry as Flipside. In Season 1, the team struggled against Flipside, though they would often beat other teams by just as much as Flipside did. It wasn't until Season 3, after the team had become Northern Gaming, that they really showed how dominant they could be. Up until their win at the RLCS Finals in Season 3, the team had always found themselves just shy of being the best in the world. Northern Gaming is now envious. I think they have a really good chance of doing well this season at the Finals because they have so much experience. Number 6, Cloud9 and G2. There have been quite a few seasons where Cloud9 and G2 were the two most dominant teams in North America. G2 is the only team to beat Cloud9 in league play more than once, and in terms of performance at the World Championship, G2 has been quite a bit more dominant. Part of what makes this rivalry so great is that the teams are structured really similarly. So both teams have that anchor player in Torment and Rizzo, the support player in Gimmick and Kronovi, and then the more flashy playmaker in Squishy and JNaps. This is really the reason it's so hard to predict what will happen when Cloud9 and G2 face off. They're just so similar, but if one of the teams is really playing well and things are clicking, that's the team that ends up winning. Number 5, Sharif and Rattles. This one started way back in the NA qualifiers for the second 12 Titans tournament, when Sharif made an absolutely ridiculous comeback to win the qualifier and advance onto the 12 Titans tournament. After that tournament, Sharif and Rattles have played twice versus each other on Johnny Boy's stream, and both matches have been insane. In their second match after the 12 Titans, Rattles beat Sharif in Game 4. Even though you can't actually see the two players, you can just tell by the way they played that this was more than just another match. And in their most recent match, which was arguably just as crazy as the qualifier for the 12 Titans, here's how it came to an end.
And it has been kickoff goals galore for Sharif at moments in this series. He's got a very strong kickoff possession, but the flick is just not good enough. Sharif needs to do so much more there, as there is no height, no power, no accuracy, and a 20-second time differential here between Rattles and the win. Sharif has a very difficult shot, but he puts it in! This man will never give up. He has got 11 seconds and he still needs another goal. Look at this from Sharif off the backboard. One touch and a second one. Goal of the series, but he doesn't want to stop now. One goal game. Can Sharif do the impossible a second time? Oh my goodness, Sharif has done it again. And Rattles has got to be thinking, how has this happened? This man never gives up, never surrenders, and the kickoff goal doubles him up, and he could take this in regulation time. We got 7 seconds on the clock. Sharif, I can't believe it, but he's doing it. Top corner, oh my goodness, it's hit the crossbar. And into overtime we go. I can't believe it, but we are in an overtime, and it could be another kickoff goal. Sharif is crushing the kickoffs. And it is going to be a kickoff goal. Sharif has done it. Rattles with the rage quit. Oh my goodness. What a comeback. 2 goals down, 20 seconds left. He's on the backboard. Passes it to himself and gets the rebound. Sweet, sweet victory for Sharif. That one is going to feel pretty good.
Number 4, Fairy Peak and Scrubkilla. Though Scrub is widely considered the best 1v1 player in the history of Rocket League, he's had his share of challenges against certain players. Fairy Peak is one of those players. I've actually made videos playing versus both of these players, and so if you're interested in that, I've put links in the description below to kind of just see what it's like. I don't think that you can just say that one is better than the other. Both players are the absolute best at reading their opponent, whether they're defending or dribbling. Both have mastered challenging the ball, and basically both players are just complete scoring machines. I'm really excited to see this rivalry go on, as Scrub will be playing in the next season of RLCS. Number 3, G2 and NRG. This rivalry dates all the way back to the initial release of Rocket League in 2015, when the teams were IBP and Kings of Urban. These were basically the first 2 dominant teams to form in North America. And even though the rosters have changed since then, the captains have stayed the same, Fireburner and Kronovi. The story has its ups and downs. Though NRG hasn't performed as well in live tournaments, they've dominated North American online tournaments since the beginning. In terms of the teams facing off against each other, the story basically has 2 bookends. One, Kings of Urban taking down IBP at the MLG finals with this insane 0-second goal. And then more recently, G2 beating NRG in the regional finals last month to take the number 1 seed going into the live finals. This is one of the main rivalries to keep an eye on this weekend. Both of these teams want to win it more than anyone, and honestly both are completely capable of it. I'd really be happy with either. Like, these are basically the 2 teams I'm rooting for. Number 2, Scrubkilla and Cooksey. This one is very similar to Scrub's rivalry with Fairy Peak, although I don't think this one's really ongoing, as Cooksey really isn't a ones player anymore. Although that's part of what's made this rivalry so interesting. Cooksey has always focused on threes, but he'll randomly come out of nowhere for a show match against the best player in the world and make him look like a complete noob. Though both players focus heavily on predicting their opponent, it's kind of always been a sort of clash of playstyles. Scrub basically gives you no space, he's constantly taking possession and keeping it, and he's constantly challenging you, and you just really have no room to make anything happen. Whereas Cooksey just sort of sits back and lets you try your stuff, and he just tactically runs you into the ground and waits for you to make mistakes and then scores counter goals. And that's pretty much much what he's always done against Scrubkilla, though Scrubkilla has ended up coming out on top more often lately. Alright guys, you may have guessed it, but my pick for the greatest rivalry in Rocket League history has to go to Flipside and IBP. Most of you know the story at this point. IBP and Flipside were the dominant teams from their respective regions, and they faced off in the grand finals of the Season 1 LAN. IBP ended up winning, which in my opinion was the best thing that could happen for Rocket League esports at that time. Now, I've put this at number 1 for a few reasons. Obviously, it's hard to deny that no other rivalry has been as entertaining as this one. But I bring this up really because it was great for the game, and Rocket League needs that again. We need a Cloud9 versus G2, or an NRG versus G2, or even like a Cloud9 versus Galeforce, or an NRG versus Galeforce, or something like that. And we as viewers can really be a part of that happening. So I want to challenge you guys, those of you who watch my videos, those of you who really love this game, I want to challenge you to watch the tournament this coming weekend. Like if you've never watched RLCS, or maybe you haven't watched it in a long time, just go watch it and just get into it, like in a nerdy way. Get some popcorn and just binge it. And let's see if we can be a larger crowd than those who are just watching it to get in-game items. Maybe go into the chat and like say meaningful things. Do all the tweeting and hashtagging stuff. I don't know. Let's just do what we can to make this LAN the best LAN in Rocket League history. But yeah, I'm really excited for it, so I hope you guys check it out. I've put a link in the description to the Twitch for Rocket League so that you guys can check it out this weekend. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this one. Again, be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and if there's any rivalries that I've missed, be sure to let me know in the comments below. Until next time, peace out.